I shouldn't have gone back to the house that day. Not alone. Not when she was still there. It had been 7 weeks since the funeral. The house smelled like mothballs and lemon cleaner. But the back door was swollen from rain and wouldn't close right. My mother asked me to check on it. "You'll see her. Just say hi and fix the damn thing," she said. "Don't make it weird." But it was weird. I hadn't seen Claire since the service. Just a black dress. Eyes too dry to cry. She used to be Aunt Claire. But she wasn't really my aunt. She was my uncle's second wife. Younger than him by a decade. Moved in after I left for college. And now she was there. Alone. In that house. I knocked. Once. She didn't answer, so I let myself in. "Claire," I called, stepping into the kitchen. Doors still not shutting. She appeared from the hallway, barefoot, in jeans and an oversized sweater that slipped off one shoulder. Her hair was pulled into a messy knot like she hadn't meant to be seen. "Oh," she said, blinking. "I thought you were the plumber." "Nope. Just me." She hesitated. "You got taller. Probably just standing straighter," I said, then immediately wished I hadn't. She gave a small, polite smile. "Well, come in, I guess." I dropped my backpack on the chair, trying not to look at the framed photos still on the wall. My uncle on a boat holding up a fish, her arms around his waist. I crouched by the door and felt around the swollen frame. A little sanding, maybe some planing. Nothing major. Claire hovered behind me. "I can make coffee," she offered. "Or tea. Or wine." I looked back at her. The light from the window hit the side of her face. She wasn't wearing makeup. There were faint lines under her eyes I hadn't remembered. But her mouth was soft, turned down, like she'd been holding her breath for months. "I'm good, thanks." She poured herself a glass of something anyway. Sat across the room, legs folded up under her. It wasn't awkward, not exactly. More like neither of us knew what this was supposed to be now. "You still at school?" she asked. "Graduated last year. Freelancing now. Mostly design stuff." "Graphic design?" I nodded. "Web too." There was a silence. Not cold. Just longer than it should have been. I got the door to close. Sanded the edge down until it clicked into place. When I stood, she was closer. Watching me. "You've changed," she said quietly. "You're different." I didn't know what to say to that. Not in a good way. Not in a bad way. Before I could answer, she stepped around me, brushing past. Lightly. Not dramatic. Just enough for her sleeve to catch mine. The contact made me still. She paused, glanced back, and the air between us shifted, like she heard it too. "Sorry," she said quickly, tucking her arm close. "I didn't mean to." "You're fine." Her eyes lingered. I don't know how long. Long enough. She exhaled. A shaky little breath, then smiled, embarrassed, and turned away. "You want to stay for a minute? I'll make that coffee after all." I should have said no. I should have walked out. But she was already filling the kettle, back turned, like she hadn't asked a question at all. And I heard myself say, "Yeah, I'll stay." She handed me the coffee without looking directly at me. Her fingers brushed mine again, not on purpose. I don't think. But it made something jolt through me anyway. The mug was chipped at the rim. Same set my uncle used to drink from. I remembered being 12, watching football on this couch while he shouted at the TV. He was loud. Claire was quieter back then, quieter still now. "I haven't cleaned out his stuff yet," she said suddenly. No lead-in. Just that. I looked over. She was standing near the hall, staring toward the half-shut door that led to their old bedroom. "I tried once," she added, her voice smaller. "I opened his dresser and I just sat there for 2 hours, holding one of his socks. Isn't that pathetic?" I didn't answer. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know if she wanted comfort, or if saying anything would make it worse. She turned, gave a short laugh with no humor. God, I shouldn't be telling you this. You're just here to fix a door. You're allowed to talk. Am I? She said, watching me now. You don't find it weird? That I'm venting to you? I shifted on the couch, gripping the coffee tighter than I needed to. Maybe a little, but I don't mind. She smiled at that, not her polite one from earlier, a real one, then sat down across from me again, knees pulled in. She was barefoot still. I kept noticing that. Also, the way she tucked her thumb under the rim of the mug while she talked. The way she tilted her head just slightly when she listened, like she was trying to catch something softer beneath the words. There was a ring mark on the coffee table, one of those little circular stains where someone forgot a coaster. I wondered if it was hers or his. Can I ask you something? She said, voice low. I nodded. Do you remember him? My uncle. She looked down, then nodded. I mean, really remember him, like as a person, not just the Uncle Mike version. The real one. I thought for a second. Not really. I mean, he was around sometimes. Gave me a BB gun once. Told me not to tell my mom. She laughed softly, then went quiet. I didn't expect to miss him, she whispered. Is that terrible? No, she glanced up. Something flickered behind her eyes. You're easy to talk to, she said. Thanks. There was a pause. She leaned forward, her elbow brushing my arm this time. Didn't move away. You don't have to go yet, do you? I should have said yes. I should have stood up. But the warmth of her arm against mine, the way her voice lowered, it caught something in me. I can stay a bit, I said. Too fast. She smiled again, smaller this time. Then, would you help me with the bedroom closet? Her eyes didn't blink, and something in my chest thudded. Her bedroom was dim, blinds half closed, dust dancing in the light. The closet door creaked open like it hadn't been touched since the day he died. Inside, button-down shirts still on hangers, the scent of old aftershave clinging to the fabric. Claire stood next to me, arms folded across her chest like she was holding herself together. I know it's stupid, she said quietly. They're just shirts. I shook my head. It's not stupid. She reached for one. Blue plaid. Paused halfway, her fingers trembling just enough for me to notice. I almost reached out to steady her, but I didn't. She didn't pick it up, just let her hand fall and stepped back. This was a mistake, she murmured. I shouldn't have asked you in here. I backed toward the hallway, giving her space. I can head out. She didn't answer. I made it as far as the living room before I heard her voice again, softer this time. I don't think anyone's touched his things since the funeral. I stopped, turned. Claire was standing in the doorway, arms now at her sides. Her expression wasn't broken, just raw. Honest in a way I hadn't seen before. I think I just needed someone to see it, she said. To see me. My throat tightened. I see you. Silence. Then, her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, sudden and sharp. She turned away fast, wiping under her eye like nothing had happened. Ignore that, she said. It's probably my sister. She's been trying to get me to move back home. Are you going to? Claire poured herself more coffee, though she hadn't finished the first. I don't know. She thinks this house is a tomb. Do you? She turned, met my eyes. Sometimes. But then someone comes over and sands a door, and drinks my coffee, and doesn't look at me like I'm broken. I didn't mean to take a step closer, but I did. She noticed, didn't move. I shouldn't be saying any of this, she whispered. You didn't. Her laugh was soft, bitter. I did though. The space between us wasn't big. Maybe a foot. I looked down. Her hand was resting on the counter near mine. The skin of our pinkies almost touched. My heart kicked hard, like it was warning me. I should have left. I told myself that, over and over. But I didn't. I said, it's okay to miss being close to someone. Her eyes flicked up. That's not what I... She stopped herself. Her lips parted like she was about to explain or apologize, but no words came. Then the front door rattled. A knock, 2 sharp taps. She froze. I stepped back fast, pulse hammering. Claire didn't move, didn't answer the door, just looked at me, eyes wide, breath shallow. The knock didn't come again. Whoever it was must have left. But the silence afterward felt louder somehow, pressing in. Claire hadn't moved from the kitchen. Her hand gripped the counter, white-knuckled. "You okay?" I asked. She didn't answer right away, just shook her head, slow, almost imperceptible. "I don't know what I'm doing," she finally said. "I mean, I do. I know this is..." She trailed off, then let out a breath. "Wrong." My jaw tensed. "I didn't mean for this to get confusing," she added quickly. I liked the sound of someone else's footsteps in the house again." I nodded, but couldn't meet her eyes. "It's not just the footsteps, though." That made her look up. There was a beat, her face unreadable. Then something flickered across it, a sort of soft defeat. "No," she said. "It's not." I stepped toward the door, just to do something. I didn't leave, but I needed distance. My hands fidgeted with the strap of my bag. "This doesn't make sense," I said. "You were with my uncle." "I was with your uncle," she snapped, not angry, just sharp, immediate. "But he's dead. And I've been sitting in this house for months with nothing but old photos and casseroles from people who never really knew me." Her voice cracked at the end. She turned away fast. "I'm not trying to trap you or make this into something," she whispered. "But I can't keep pretending I don't feel anything just because it makes everyone else more comfortable." I stood there, frozen. The air between us was thick, alive with everything neither of us had said aloud. Claire turned back around, slowly. Her face was bare. Not seductive, not even hopeful, just honest. "I know I'm older. I know how this looks. But when you talk to me, it's the only time I don't feel like I'm disappearing." I swallowed hard. "I shouldn't want this," I said. "I shouldn't want you." She nodded. "Then go." I didn't move. Her arms were at her sides now, uncovered, vulnerable. She walked forward, slowly, 1 step, 2. We were face to face now. "If you kiss me," she said quietly, "we can't pretend after. We can't unknow it." My heart thudded against my ribs. I could smell her shampoo, something faint and familiar, like rain on pavement. "I don't know if I can stop thinking about you," I said. Her lips parted. "Barely. I haven't felt this," she whispered. "Since before he got sick." We didn't touch. Not yet. But everything in the room felt like it had leaned toward her, toward this. Then silence. Not empty, not peaceful, just loaded. And in that silence, she asked, barely above a breath, "Are you scared of what happens next?" Her question hung between us. "Are you scared of what happens next?" I didn't answer. Not with words. I stepped back, barely. Not out of rejection, more like instinct. Like I needed space to breathe, to think, to not do something irreversible. But that shift, it changed her face. Her shoulders drew inward, like she'd just embarrassed herself, like she'd misread everything. "I shouldn't have said that," she whispered. "No," I said quickly. "It's not that. It's just..." And that's when I saw it. A small frame sitting on the sideboard near the window, tucked behind a candle easy to miss. I stepped toward it before I could stop myself. The photo was old, maybe 10 years. A holiday dinner. There was my uncle, smiling big, a glass of wine in hand. And next to him, Claire. And next to her, younger, braces, flannel shirt me. Only I wasn't looking at the camera. I was looking at her. Claire followed my eyes, then reached for the frame and turned it face down. "You saw it," she murmured. "That was..." I swallowed. "I didn't realize you were at that Thanksgiving. I barely remember it." She didn't speak for a long time. just stood still, her hands resting on the frame. "I remember it," she said finally. "You were 17. You sat across from me at dinner and asked me if I liked Radiohead. Your uncle laughed and said you were trying too hard." My face flushed hot. "That sounds like me." Claire smiled faintly. "I remember thinking you were sweet, smart, a little lost. But then I married your uncle and you disappeared off to school. That was the last time I really saw you." I stared at the turned-over photo. "You remembered me," I said. She nodded. "I remembered how you looked at me." The air shifted again. The tension had changed, deeper now. Not just about attraction or grief. It was about time. About history. "You're not some stranger who showed up and made me feel wanted," she said. "You're someone I watched grow up. Someone I thought about more than I should have. Even back then." The words landed hard. I wasn't prepared for how fast my heart reacted. Not scared. Just exposed. "You thought about me?" I asked. Claire didn't hesitate. "More than I ever said. More than I ever let myself admit." I stepped toward her again, this time without hesitation. "I'm not 17 anymore." "No," she said softly. "You're not." Her fingers brushed mine again. But this time she didn't pull away. Then her phone buzzed again. Louder now, persistent. She looked at it, then at me. "My sister," she said. "She's downstairs." My breath caught. She whispered, "What do I tell her?" And this time I didn't answer. She stood by the window, backlit and tense, watching the phone still buzzing in her hand. Claire didn't look at me. Not right away. I heard her whisper more to herself than to me. "She'll know if I'm lying." I stayed still. The silence felt like a hallway with a locked door at the end. I couldn't tell if we were supposed to open it or walk away. "I can go," I said finally. She turned then, sharp, almost startled. "Is that what you want?" The question hit harder than I expected. I looked at her, really looked. Her sweater was stretched at the sleeves from where she kept tugging them. Her lips were pressed too tight. She wasn't trying to seduce me. She was just trying not to fall apart. "I don't know what this is," I said. "I didn't come here thinking." "I know." Her voice cracked. "God, I know. And I hate that I want you to stay anyway." The honesty of it broke something open in me. I stepped closer. Not touching her. Just close enough that she could feel it if she wanted. "I keep thinking this is wrong," I said. "And maybe it is. But nothing has felt this real in a long time. With anyone." Her breath hitched. "I thought after he died, that part of me was gone," she whispered. "The part that could still feel like a woman. Like someone you look at the way you're looking at me." I blinked hard. "You are." "I do." Claire looked up, eyes glassy, vulnerable in a way that made me ache. Then, for the first time, she reached for me. Her hand rested lightly against my chest, just enough to feel my heart racing under her palm. "If I ask you to kiss me right now," she said, "it's not because I'm grieving. It's not because I'm lonely." I waited. "It's because I haven't been seen, really seen, in years. And you see me." I didn't answer with words. I just leaned in. Our foreheads touched first. Her hand stayed on my chest. We breathed the same air. But neither of us crossed the line. "Not yet." She pulled back slightly. "This doesn't have to be anything else. Not tonight. Just don't leave yet." I nodded. "I won't." Then the doorbell rang. A sharp, impatient buzz. Once. Then again. Claire stepped back, wiped under her eyes quickly, like she could erase everything in one gesture. She moved toward the door. Before she opened it, she looked back. "You'll be here when I come back?" My voice was steady. "I'm not going anywhere." Her mouth lifted barely. A hint of something warmer than relief. Something like trust. Then she opened the door, and I was left alone in her living room, surrounded by old pictures, quiet walls, and the weight of what we hadn't said, but couldn't take back. She came back in 10 minutes later. Her coat was buttoned wrong. I think she was shaking. Just a little. "She's gone," Claire said. "I told her you were helping me with the closet." I nodded slowly. "Not really a lie." "No," she said. "But not the truth either." We both stood in the same places. Me near the couch, her by the door. Like actors waiting for direction. But this wasn't a performance. There was no script now. No rules. "I'm not good at these moments," she admitted. "The ones that feel like they matter." "You did fine," I said. She came closer. Sat down beside me. Not close enough to touch, but enough that our knees almost met. "This house," she said. "It stopped feeling like mine when he got sick. It became a waiting room. For death. For grief. For what people thought I should be." I didn't interrupt. "But when you walked in again," she continued, "it didn't feel like a waiting room anymore. Felt like a place I might start over. If I was brave enough." "You are," I said. Claire looked at me for a long moment. "And you? What do you feel?" I hesitated, then answered carefully. "I came here thinking I'd fix a door. Something simple. But you cracked something open in me too. Something I didn't realize I was still hiding." She waited. "I've always looked for meaning in people who were older than me," I said. "Maybe because I was never sure who I was. But with you, it's not about age. It's not even about timing. It's about—" I looked at her, raw and real. "It's about finally seeing someone who sees me too." Claire's eyes were wet again, but this time she didn't look away. We didn't kiss. Not then. We just sat in the quiet, her hand eventually finding mine. Our fingers laced together without needing a reason. No rush. No shame. Just permission. Later, we talked about everything, what it would mean, what people might think, how complicated it could get. And we still chose to try. Weeks passed. I helped clean out his things. She painted the bedroom. I started showing up with groceries, then staying for dinner, then staying overnight. And one evening, months later, while folding laundry on the same couch where it all began, she looked over and said, "I never thought I'd feel this way again." I smiled. Neither did I. Some stories don't begin the way we expect. They don't come at the right time or with easy answers. But sometimes they show up when we need them most. And if we're honest, if we're brave enough, they give us a second chance at something real.